Hi guys, I'm Cambro, and today we will be talking about survivor cards for the Forgotten Age expansion. So if you haven't checked out my previous videos, go back and check them out, because there I'm covering this Guardian Seeker, Rogue, and Mystic cards, and in this last video we'll be covering the Survivor and the one single neutral card and the two new basic weakness. So this video might be a little longer. Well, probably not actually, since I haven't had a lot of I don't have a lot of things to say about some of the Survivor cards. So, but we'll see. We'll jump right into it. So this is Improvised Weapon. It's a Survivor event. Cost 1 to play. And it's tactic and improvised traded. And it reads, you may play improvised weapon from your discard pile. If you do, shuffle it into your deck after resolving its effect. And then it has a fight ability. This attack gets -1. The attacked enemy gets -1 fight for this attack. If you played improvised weapon from your discard pile, this attack deals +1 damage. So it's a very weird card. You can play it from hand, and then the enemy gets -1 fight value, which is essentially just giving you a fight icon. This card doesn't have any icons at all, so you can never pitch it to a test just to get it into your discard pile. So you pay 1 to get a -1 fight. That is not good. That is like paying 1 for 1 combat and a card. That's not good at all. But if it is in your discard pile, you can play it again for 1, and then you get this -1 fight and you deal 2 damage. It's still not super good, I would say. I mean, if you compare it to something like Fire Axe, Fire Axe, where you now you pay 1 to have a weapon instead, and weapons are better because you can use them multiple times. Fire Axe, you get +2. -1 for the fight value is a bit different. It's a bit like Flashlight. And if you have used Flashlight, you know if you're doing it on a 2 shroud location, it will go on a 0 shroud location, so then you can't lose unless you draw the auto fail. So Improvised Weapon is if you're fighting on 1 fight enemy, then it will have 0 in fight, and then you're essentially good to go. But if you're fighting on 1 combat enemy, then you shouldn't have problems anyway fighting it. 1 fight enemies are usually bad in some other way. They're annoying, but you shouldn't have trouble hitting it. So I don't really see the use for this card, because it's very bad to just play it. So you definitely want it in your discard pile. So you could use someone like Wendy's ability to pitch it to redraw Chaos Token. Then you get it in your discard pile. Same with Ashcan. You can discard a card to ready an asset, and then you can discard Improvised Weapons. You would play it from your discard pile. It doesn't synergize very well with either of them though. Wendy is super weak, so I mean, even if you're fighting like a 2 or 3 combat enemy, you would still be like on the same par or even below it still. So Wendy has other tricks to deal with enemies, like backstabs and other green cards, waylay. And Ashcan has Pete. No, Ashcan has Duke. And you can't use Improvised Weapon because this is like a bold action, so you can't use it with Duke. So they don't synergize at all actually. So I'm having a little trouble placing where to play this card. Maybe it gets better, or someone will figure something out. Next card is Dumb Luck. It's another event, cost 2 with 2 agility icons. And read fast. Play after you fail a skill test by 2 or less during an evasion attempt against a non-elite enemy. Place the enemy on top of the encounter deck. So it's kind of similar to Look What I Found, which is you fail by 2 or less to discover 2 clues, or oops, is that how you spell it? Yeah, where you fail by 2 when you're attacking an enemy. And I would say by far the best of these 3 is Look What I Found. Oops is terrible. I think I never used it. And this is the 3rd in the set. Kind of like in the Mystic, we got an evasion spell, and now we get a fortune evasion. Are they all fortune? Yeah, they are. So now we have the entire set. We might get a willpower sometime as well. Fortune favored oblivious. So dumb luck, is it good? We actually have a very similar card already to dumb luck from the core set in closed call, and some people might not have even played this card. I haven't for once. So closed call costs 2 experience, costs 2 to play. It reads: play after a non-weakness, non-elite enemy at your location is evaded, and then you shuffle the enemy into the counter deck. Here you fail the evasion and you place it on top. So which is better? It actually depends. It depends who's the lead investigator, because the lead investigator will be the one who draws the enemy. So if the lead investigator is someone more suitable for fighting, that might actually be a good setup. You could... why the hell did I have York here? Yeah, like... yeah, I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, someone like Yorick could play dumb luck and then put up an ambush, but I mean Yorick shouldn't have problem fighting anyway, so... but you can set up an ambush if you really want to play around. And even also just placing an enemy on top who might have had too many doom on him, or if you can't immediately deal with that enemy right now. So yeah, it's a hard sell for me. Hard sell, is that bad or good? No. I don't think I'll probably take one to try it out sometimes, but we'll see. It's not the most exciting card for me. Next we have Yatol. I believe that's how it's pronounced. Lost Son of Etsy. So it's an ally asset. Costs 3 to play and 1 XP, and has a willpower icon. 2 health and 2 sanity. He's ally and warfare traded, and reads fast. Exhaust Yatol. During this skill test, you get a bonus for each skill equal to the number of matching skill icons on top of your discard pile, not counting wild. Should zoom in a bit. Whoops, maybe too much. There. I think that's good. So this first ability, you look at the top of your discard pile. If you have something like I don't know, guts on top of your discard pile, then you get 2 wild. You do not get to draw a card though if you succeed. If you have something like vicious blow, you get 1. You do not do the text on it. It doesn't even have to be a skill card. If you have something like a magnifying glass, then you get 1 intellect. So that's pretty cool. You probably will almost... it depends, because if you're doing an investigation test and have a vicious blow on top, then you can't use this. You can't commit a combat to an intellect test. But if you set up your discard pile with someone like Duke and Wendy, as we saw earlier, Wendy can pitch card and Ashcan can pitch cards, then you can set it up your top quite neatly. His second ability, discard the top card of your deck, limit once per turn. This is interesting. I think this is the only way we can discard cards. No, yeah, I think it's the only way we can discard card, because Ashley can't discard them. She just put them on the bottom. So if you manage to discard your weakness, that's super good. It's super hard because you don't know when your weakness will come unless you're doing some obscure combo with Alicia or Scrying. So I guess the Agnes could actually do it. You definitely don't want Agnes weakness. So yeah, might not be totally crazy to run Jotol in Agnes, just to avoid her personal weakness. He works very well also with the Desperate skill cards we got in Carcosa, the one with 4 icons. You can only play them if you have 3 or fewer remaining sanity. But if you get into your discard pile some other way, you can use Jotol abilities to just get these bonus. So that could be something like let's say you're at full health with Ashcan, then you attack with Duke. You pitch Reckless Assault to wake up Duke, and then the second attack with Duke you can get +4, which probably very good. I have tried blindly just tossing cards in a York deck. Didn't hit my weakness, but I mean, it's not totally bad either in Yorick, because Yorick wants some assets in his discard pile, so when he kills something, you have Yorick. I can't spell. So when you hit something, you get to play an asset. When you kill something, you get to play an asset. So Yolal actually helps you put assets in your discard pile. He's cool, and I mean, 2 health, 2 sanity, not too bad actually. Someone wrote that Ming might be working well because she's pitching tons of skill cards. So yeah, that might not be the worst idea. Okay, this is Last Chance, and it's our final. We're moving on fast. It's our final survivor card. It's a skill card with 5 wild icons, which is a new record. The Desperate cards were the top contender almost. Yeah, there were other 4, but we haven't seen a 5 icon card before. So it reads: commit only to a skill test with no other committed cards to it. Other cards cannot be committed to this skill test. So basically you can commit. This is the only card you can commit. And Last Chance loses 1 wild for each card in your hand. So best case scenario, you have 1 card in your hand, and that's Last Chance. You pitch it, you get 5 wild. You have, let's say you have 3 cards and you pitch Last Chance. Then you have 2 cards remaining in your hand, and it will lose 2 of its wild. So, and that's still 3 wild, which is very good. Though if you have, let's see, if you have 6 cards in hand, this is a blank card. But even if you have, let's see, if you have 4 cards, including Last Chance, and play it, so you have 3 cards left in your hand, this is still an Unexpected Courage, which is like one of the best not best, but a lot of decks usually includes them, because 2 wild icon is very solid. So I think it's, and especially in red, it definitely depends on the playstyle, but as I have keep saying, Wendy and Ashcan both pitch cards left and right. They don't have a lot of cards. You could also then just try to always be low on cards. Run Madame, what's her name? Madame Lagrange. To constantly be around 1 or 0 cards to keep drawing new cards with her. Yeah, it's cool. Let's see. What says people said? Yeah, basically the same thing I said, I think. So it's a very cool card. I have tried it, and it's very solid. But you have to keep in mind that it exists in your deck. So you can't just keep stacking cards in your hand. So I guess Ming would like it. That would be 6 wild icons, which is crazy. Yeah, that's cool. It could almost kill her Yellow King by itself then. But you have to commit 3 cards, right? Well, you have to commit at least 3 cards, so you can't just play like Last Chance by yourself. Where is it? Yeah, so that's our red cards. 4 of them. 2 I like a lot. Yotel and Last Chance, very cool. Dumb Luck I'm a bit unsure about, and Improvised Weapon I am very unsure about. I don't like it too much, to be honest. Continue on, we're 15 minutes in. This is Backpack. It's a neutral card, or only neutral card in this pack. Asset. It's an asset, item trade, and take up the body slot for some reason. Must be a very big backpack. And it reads, reaction. After Backpack enter place, search the top 6 cards of your deck for up to 3 non-weakness item or supply cards and attach them face down to Backpack. Shuffle your deck. Cards attached to Backpack may be played as if they were in your hand. If there are no cards attached to Backpack, discard it. So it's a tutor for item and supply. It's a different search number than we usually see. We usually see 9 in stuff like Prepare for the Worst and the new ally. What else was her name? Ellie. But I guess on Note Stern on Tone, how many cards were that? Yeah, okay, that was 6. So I guess 6 might be the number when you are a bit more free to search, and 9 is when you're more specific, like calling in favor. But you get to search for 3, so you probably will hit 1 or 2 at least if you're building. If you're having a lot of items and supplies. And I mean, there's a lot of items here. Just look at them. And there are some good targets also. There's weapons. All weapons are items. A lot of amulets and accessories. Grotesque statue. The Key of Ease if you're playing with that. It's not too fun though. The lightning gun, Lupara, magnifying glasses, newspapers, the strange illusions are items. There's a lot of the pocket watch. There's a lot of items. Just and supplies. I'm not entirely sure. Let's see. Okay, they weren't. Okay, but I mean, finding the emergency cash and extra ammo, not too bad. The question is the tempo good enough? Paying 2 and an action to play it, to look at the top 6 cards. I mean, one might say that you could just draw 3 times instead, but it's not that simple really. Yeah, and this doesn't take up the hand slot, so I'm unsure about this one. Let's see what the people talked about. Yeah, I mean, in Yorick, if you're running small teddy bears and coats, weapons and emergency cash, yeah, there's probably good use for this one if you're. Yeah, I mean, it definitely depends on how many items and supply you're running, and if you're. Yeah, I'm babbling now. I will leave that and move on to the one or both of our basic weakness. So you probably have seen the basic weakness by now, and if you're super caution about spoiler, don't listen from here on. So our first basic weakness is called Dark Pact. It costs 2 and it's pact rated, and it reads campaign mode only, which essentially means you can't If you're playing standalone, don't include this one. And it reads, deal 2 damage to an investigator at your location. Forced. At the end of when the game ends or you are eliminated, if Dark Pact is still in your hand, remove Dark Pact from your deck, search the collection for the price of failure and add it to your deck. So you draw this, nothing happens. It sits in your hand until either the scenario ends or you pay 2 in an action and deal 2 damage to an investigator at your location. That can be you though, but you can do it to anyone else. If you don't, you will get the price of failure. So let's look at that. Price of failure. It's a pact, treachery card, and reads Revelation. Take 2 damage, 2 horror, place 1 doom on the current agenda, and this can cause the agenda to advance. Then you remove the price of failure, add Dark Pact to your discard pile. So they keep bouncing. Yes. So let's start with Dark Pact. How bad is this? 2 damage. That effect is not too bad, but the fact that you have to pay for it in resource and cost, it's kind of annoying though. But it doesn't have to be super devastating. If you know you're about to end the scenario, just stab 1 ally. You can deal the damage to an ally that someone has. And it's not, I read a fun discussion here that it's not peril, so you can discuss when you will stab someone. It would have been cool if it was peril, but yeah, I don't know. They might thought that would be too... I mean, it would be pretty fast to figure out that you have this card in your hand. No, maybe not, actually. Yeah, it could have been peril, it would have been cool. So Dark Pact is not too bad, just stab an ally at the end of the scenario. However, if you don't manage to do it, you get the price of failure, and boy, this is super strong. Taking 2/2 is really bad. That can, I mean, if this strikes at the wrong time, that can kill you. It's not direct, so you can place it on an ally or something. But placing 1 doom on the current agenda, that's horrible. That's an ancient evil. Like straight out from your deck. So yeah, I think you definitely don't want to fail the prize. Just keep stabbing people unless you draw it at the end of the scenario, then it doesn't do anything at the end of the campaign. But this is really, really cool though, that these two keep bouncing back and forth. Potentially it can bounce 4 times, I guess, if you draw it every scenario and doesn't fulfill the pact. Okay, lost basic weakness, and you have all seen this one. It's doomed. Campaign mode only, cursed. Revelation. Take 1 horror. In your campaign log, record that the doom is approaching. If that was already recorded, remove doom from your deck, search your collection for a cursed fate and place it at the bottom of your deck. A cursed fate, the upgraded doom, is cursed rated Revelation. Take 2 horror. In your campaign log, record that the hour is 9. If it was already recorded, remove a cursed fate from your deck, search the collection for a bell tolls and play it at the bottom of your deck. And then finally we have the bell tolls. Dun, dun. The bell tolls. It's a curse, Revelation, the hour of your demise has arrived. You are killed. It is meant for you. It has always been. So, Doom struck up lots of controversials about it. So essentially you draw Doom, you record something, you draw Doom in the next scenario probably, you switch it for a stronger version. Second time you draw a cursed fate, you get the bell tolls, and when you draw the bell tolls, you die. So if you draw this weakness 5 times during a campaign, you're dead. You can't do anything about it. There's no tests on any of them. There are no choices you can do. You're just straight up killed. So, if we start with Doom and Accursed Fate, because they're pretty similar, the effects on them are not that bad at all. Taking 1 horror and taking 2 horror, it's not too bad for a basic weakness. 2 horror might be a bit annoying, but most survivors should be able to, most investigators should be able to handle it. Yeah, it's I mean, for example, it can be a bit boring. That's my main concern. If you, let's say that you're super bad unlucky and draw it every scenario, then you're dead at scenario 5. And like someone, when I'm playing with my sister and her husband, for example, I would never let any one of them have this. So if we randomize them and they got this, I would probably switch it, because I mean, they only play one campaign once, so them having to die in the middle of it wouldn't be the most fun thing to do. And I mean, some investigators like Mark, he will every time I play Mark, I almost draw the entire deck. And that's actually pretty bad, because if you draw Doom, let's say you have 30 cards, you draw Doom on your 20th card, then you will, yeah, I guess it doesn't do anything the first time, but let's say that you had already recorded Doom is approaching, then you switch it for Accursed Fate, and Accursed Fate goes to the bottom of your deck. Then you would be still 10 cards from just recording that the hour is night. So, I mean, if you're actually drawing quite much in that scenario, you can hit it twice, which is super bad. I don't get it why it's not added to your discard pile. It's even less chance to draw it from there compared to the bottom of your deck. So, yeah. There are not a lot of stuff you can do. There are some stuff, obviously. Basically, you never want to switch Accursed Fate for the bell tolls, because do whatever you can to not get the bell tolls. Because if you're super unlucky, even if you have it and you have stuff like Alicia, how the hell is she spelled? I don't know where she is, and I don't remember her surname. Let's see, Graham, that's right. If you have like Alicia, you could keep looking at the top of your deck and place Accursed Fate or Doomed on the bottom. That is worth a Doom, I would say. But if you ever get the Belf Toll, it could be the first card you draw before you're even set up. So then you're just straight up killed. So try not to go there. Try whatever you can to not get there. So how can you stop it? Like Alicia works very well. Scrying is another way, but it's very slow and you only get to look at 3 cards. Stuff you can do, which I don't see a lot of people talk about, is to play reckless. If you know you have Doom, take more chances. Do stuff that might kill you but benefits the group. Because if you're defeated, sure, you take a trauma, but you don't advance the Doom train. I don't know what to call it. They talked about here also about, where is it? I can't find it now. But they talked about, I'll handle this. Nope. Yeah, both of this. I'll handle this and you'll handle that. This one to pass it away. So if I draw it, I can pass to another investigator to spread it, because they will never draw it 5 times. but it was ruled in the latest FAQ that you can't pass it, because it's not an encounter card until it's resolved. It's a player cards until it's resolved, so you can't pass it off. So yeah, I mean, it's very interesting, because if you compare it to some card like Overzealous, which is draw 2 encounter card, which can be devastating, you can still like handle the encounter deck. You can't handle the Doom. I love this card flavor wise. It's very cool that there's a clock ticking on you, and when it hits, you're dead. But I don't know how fun it is. I haven't tried it yet, which I must stretch. I don't know. Is it good to assume that you will draw your basic weakness every scenario? I feel like I'm doing that, but I haven't kept tab really. So let's say you draw it just every second scenario, then you will draw it 4 times in a 8 scenario campaign, and you're fine. It doesn't do much then as a basic weakness. So this is more like all in or nothing happens. I still think it's cool in flavor wise. Yeah, but try out though, and if you don't like it, no one is forcing you. Just remove it from your eligible weakness card pool. Yeah, so I think that's it. That's the survivor cards and the weakness and the neutral card. So that's the entire Forgotten Age cards of the player cards. Obviously, I won't talk about the scenario cards. And I've talked about the investigator. So I hope you like this video. I find it they're very fun to make, and I like when people are commenting and liking. So I hope you guys appreciate it as well. The Threads of Fate has already been released yesterday, so I'm actually a bit behind on this video. So I'll do a video on that probably in like a day or 2. I'll be playing the Labyrinth of Lunacy tomorrow, so I probably won't have time to do it. But yeah, if you like this video, please like, subscribe, comment, and all that good shit. Until next time, good luck with those token pools. See ya.